Good morning, everyone. Let us start this first session of the dynamics of machinery. So this is your course MEC 503. So this is the course code MEC 503. So it is a dynamics of machinery. And this is the first lecture of this semester. So as this is the first lecture, so we will see the introduction of this subject. So basically this subject is the combination of the theory of machine and the mechanical vibration. So you have two modules from the theory of machine, and from mechanical vibration, you have remaining 4 modules. So first we will see what is meaning of dynamics of machinery. So it deals with the study of the motion of machine's part or component or mechanisms based on the forces, moments acting on the machine or on the mechanism. Okay. So basically the dynamics of machinery is the motion analysis of the mechanisms within the machine by considering the effect of the forces or moment. So it has a 2 parts. One is the dynamics. So dynamics means it is the motion analysis by considering the forces which causes that motion. So you must have studied the dynamics in the engineering mechanics. And this machinery word, so basically it refers to a whole machine or the mechanisms within the machine. Okay. So therefore this name is given dynamics of machinery. So basically we are dealing with the force analysis for the various mechanisms or various components within that machine. Okay. So where do we find the application of the dynamics of machinery? So here you can see the examples where we will use the knowledge from this subject. So the first example here, it is the suspension system of the vehicles. So to design the suspension system, that is to design the spring and the damper, we need the concepts from the dynamics of machinery. Then force analysis of the punching press, then force analysis of the engines, that is the IC engine, then analysis of the naval ship and the aeroplane when it takes the turn. So basically this analysis of the naval ship, so it is the stability analysis when the ship is sailing in the sea. The next is force analysis of the turbine and the flywheel shaft. So for this we will need the concepts from the dynamics of machinery. Okay. So these are some applications. So before we start with the actual content of the syllabus, we will see what are the prerequisite subjects for this dynamics of machinery. So first subject is engineering mechanics. So in the engineering mechanics, we have learned the static and the dynamic part. So from the static part, so you have learned the system of forces. So there are different system of forces: coplanar, non-coplanar forces, concurrent forces. Okay. So in the static, we have learned how to determine the resultant of this system when the system is subjected to 2 or more than 2 forces. Okay. And the second part in the static, it is the equilibrium. Okay. That means if the system is subjected to different forces, and if you want to find out the reaction forces, okay, that is called as support reaction, then you will use the conditions of equilibrium. Okay. So there are 3 conditions. If the system is a 3-dimensional, one is summation fx0, summation fy0, and summation of the fz0. Okay. But if the system is coplanar, okay, then we will need the summation fx0 and summation fy0. So you must have good understanding of the free body diagram, because when you use the conditions of equilibrium to find out the support reactions, the first step is you need to draw the free body diagram. Okay, so here you can see the example for the free body diagram. So this is the simple object. So this object is being pulled by the force F, and the opposing force is the frictional force, which acts in the opposite direction to the motion. And one force is the weight force, and second is the normal reaction, which is offered by the surface to the block having the mass m. Okay. So we need this knowledge or this concept from the static part so that we can do the force analysis in the dynamics of machinery. The second part in the engineering mechanics, it is the dynamics part. Okay. So in the dynamic part, you have learned the Newton's second law, then energy equation. So basically this is the work energy principle. Okay. So we will use Newton's second law and the energy equation when we will do the force analysis for the spring mass system in the dynamics of machinery. Okay. So from Newton's second law, you must know these two equations. Summation Fx is equal to mass into acceleration in the x direction, and summation Fy, this is equal to mass into acceleration in the y direction. So basically this equation is summation of F is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay. So this is F is equal to m into a. So this is the Newton's second law. The next subject, that is a prerequisite, it is the applied mathematics. So from the applied mathematics, you must know the differential equations and how to find out their solutions. So here you can observe the two differential equations. One is the homogeneous differential equation. It has the format d2y upon dt square plus dy by dt plus y of t is equal to 0. So this is the homogeneous second order differential equation. And the second equation, which is a d2y by dt square plus dy by dt plus y of t is equal to f of t. This is second order non-homogeneous differential equation. Okay. So maybe in engineering mathematics 2 or 3, you must have learned these differential equations and how to get the solution of this differential equation. So when I say this solution, so what is the exact meaning of solution? So in the last line, you can see here the solution of the equation. So from this differential equation, we need to find out one equation that will describe this y. Okay. So here we have one basic equation, y is equal to a sin omega t plus b cos omega t. So basically y, it is the function of time. Okay. So just I will elaborate this so you can understand the meaning of the solution. So here the differential equation, either this equation, that is a homogeneous equation, or non-homogeneous differential equation. So basically this differential equation have been formed to describe a physical state. Okay. So maybe in mathematics 2 or mathematics 3, you have just learned the differential equation, but not its application. Okay. So basically these two equations, they will represent one physical phenomena. Okay. So this physical phenomena, so it is the vibration. That is a vibration of a simple spring mass system. So here we have the mass and this is the stiffness K. And if this mass is oscillating because of some forces, then if you consider this as a y direction, then this mass, it will take the different points with respect to time. Okay. And then we will get one waveform. If I plot this y versus time, so suppose the mass starting from the mean position, then we will get such waveform. Okay. So here y axis, it is the displacement in the y direction, and this is the time axis. Okay. So in order to get these different points with respect to time, we must have some equation that will describe this complete waveform. Okay. So right now, just by observation, this waveform, it looks like as a sine wave, or it is the cosine wave. Okay. So this is called as a solution. That means once you find out the solution of this differential equation, you will get one equation, y is equal to f of t. Okay. And this f of t means what? It is the function of time. That means this is one equation which will describe the position of the y with respect to time. So this equation, it may have the general form, which is a y is equal to a sine omega t plus b cos omega t. Okay. So this is represented as a f of t. So this is the use of differential equation when we will do the force analysis in the dynamics of machinery. So basically these two equations, they are for the vibration phenomena. Okay. So this is their physical significance of these two equations. So you must have learned how to get the solution of this equation. So there are two methods. The first method to get the solution, this is called as the Laplace. So it is the Laplace transform. And second equation is, this is the conventional method. So we get this solution by complementary function plus particular integral. So you need to recall this concept. I'm not going to teach this, how to calculate the complementary function and particular integral. Okay. So either by Laplace transform or by using y is equal to Cf plus Pi, we can get this solution for more complex differential equations. Okay. So this is the prerequisite from the applied mathematics. The next subject is the strength of material. Okay, that we have learned in the semester 3. So from strength of material, you should know the concept of the elasticity. So elasticity specifically for the spring and for the beams. Okay, because your entire vibration, it depends on the elasticity. So if the material having some elasticity, then it will be subjected to some sort of vibrations. Okay. So you must know this equation, F is equal to kx. So this is the basic equation. Then the spring energy equation. So you have learned this equation in the strain energy chapter from the strength of material. So in the spring, the strain energy, this is called as a potential energy. It is stored in the spring by this equation, which is a 1/2 kx square. Okay. Then deflection, you must know the deflection formula for the beams, which is a simply supported, and the cantilever beam. Okay. So all the beams, they are subjected to vibrations, and this vibration we can find out by taking the help of the bending formula. Okay. So from the bending formula, so that is a flexural formula. Okay. You will get these equations. So this equation I have just written only for the cantilever beam. For simply supported beam, there is similar formula. Okay. So for the cantilever beam, you have the formula, which is a PL cube upon 3 EI. So P means amount of force or the load acting at the free end of that cantilever beam. E is the elasticity. Okay. Then I is the moment of inertia, and L is the span of that beam. Okay. So this I, this is the area moment of inertia. It is not mass moment of inertia. Okay. So you must have good understanding of mass moment of inertia and the area moment of inertia, where we should use the mass moment of inertia and where we should use the area moment of inertia. In your entire strength of material, you have just used the area moment of inertia. Okay. Because area moment of inertia, it is required in order to predict the bending of the beams. Okay. Then from the strength of material, you should know the equation for the torsion. So this is the equation for the torsion. T by J is equal to C theta upon L is equal to tau by R. Okay. So we have learned this, the bending equation, then strain energy, then torsion equation. Just you need to recall this concept. The next subject is kinematics of machinery. So this is from the semester 4. So in the kinematics of machinery, you must have learned the moment of inertia. So here you have learned the moment of inertia, which is a mass moment of inertia. Okay. So mass moment of inertia, it is required in the equation of Newton's second law, that is F is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay. So when it is a linear acceleration or it is a linear motion, so why do we need the mass moment of inertia? And one is the area moment of inertia. So area moment of inertia, it is required to predict the bending. So in the bending equation, that is in the flexural equation, you must have used the area moment of inertia. Okay. For the circular beam, for the beam having the rectangular cross section or square cross section. Okay. But this concept of mass moment of inertia, this is used in the Newton's second law. So basically it is the inertia. Okay. So Newton's second law, it has two equations. The first equation, it is for the linear motion. And second equation, this is for the rotational motion. Okay. So both the equations are almost same. Only we change the mass by the mass moment of inertia. Okay. So the first equation is F is equal to mass into acceleration. So this is for the linear motion. So simple example we can take. Suppose this is the ground and there is one object. Just take rectangular object. It is in a box having the mass m. Okay. And we apply a force F. That means we are trying to push that object in this direction, that is on the right direction, or consider this is a positive x direction. Okay. So because of this force, how much acceleration will develop in this mass? So that can be given with this equation, mass into acceleration. So here acceleration is equal to force upon m. So suppose this mass has value 10 kg and we apply 1 Newton force. Okay. So this is equal to 1 upon 10. So that will be equal to 0.1 meter per second square. So this mass will be subjected to this acceleration 0.1 meter per second square. Okay. So this is the use of Newton's second law. With the Newton's second law, we can predict the acceleration of the given mass under the action of the force. For rotational motion, we have the similar equation. Just replace this force by the torque. This acceleration will be angular acceleration and this mass will be replaced by the mass moment of inertia. So this is the significance of mass moment of inertia. Okay. And for such type of calculation, we need the mass moment of inertia. Okay. So where do we use this exactly? So this is used in the rotating machine parts. It may be a flywheel, turbines. Okay. So suppose you have one wheel. And it is mounted on one shaft. Okay. And we apply one tangential force, which is the F. Okay. And it is having the radius. Let us take this capital R. So how much angular acceleration will be developed in this wheel? So we can calculate this by using this formula. So this is the physical significance of this formula, Newton's second law. Torque is equal to mass moment of inertia into angular acceleration. So this we can write T is equal to, this is the mass moment of inertia into angular acceleration. So here we want to calculate the angular acceleration. Okay. So alpha, this is equal to T upon I, and that is equal to this T value, it is not available, but we can calculate this torque. So that is equal to F into perpendicular distance with respect to the axis of rotation. Okay. So we can replace this T by F into R and divide it by the mass moment of inertia. Okay. So this is how we can calculate the alpha. So how do we write mass moment of inertia? So this mass moment of inertia, this is equal to m into radius of gyration square. So you already learned this concept, how to calculate the radius of gyration, k. Okay. So suppose this wheel, it is having the mass as a 2 kg and this radius of gyration 1. Just take 1 meter. So this will be 1 square. So we will get the mass moment of inertia as a 2 kg meter square. Okay. And if you apply the force as a 2 Newton, and suppose this radius r, this is equal to 1 meter. So alpha we will get, this is 2 into 1 divided by the mass moment of inertia 2, that is equal to 1. This is rad per second square. Okay. So this is the angular acceleration. So don't get confused with this radius of gyration and this radius of given wheel. Okay. Both are different. So k will have some different value. So in order to calculate this k, so there are some experimental methods. So we will learn this experimental method, how to find out the radius of gyrations. Okay. And even there are some mathematical analytical methods. Okay. So this is the prerequisite from the kinematics of machinery. Okay. So first is moment of inertia, area and mass moment of inertia. So I have given some examples. Mass moment of inertia for slender rod, for disc, for cylinder, for sphere. So these are some standard geometrical objects. Okay. And for this object, by analytical procedure, we can find out the mass moment of inertia. Okay. But for the complex shapes like this wheel, so it is not a standard shape. Okay. So for such objects, there are some experimental methods, or we can use the softwares. Okay. So by using these softwares, we can directly get the value of the moment of inertia. So then there are methods, parallel axis and the perpendicular axis. Okay, to get the value of moment of inertia. Then you have learned the velocity and acceleration analysis for the slider crank mechanism. Okay. So this analysis basically it is used for the force analysis of the IC engine. Okay. So this is the prerequisite from the kinematics of machinery. So now we will see the applications. Okay. So before we start with the actual syllabus, you should know what are the applications of these subjects. Okay. So in the industry, where we are going to use the knowledge from dynamics of machinery. So first application, it is the design and analysis of the shock absorber system of the vehicles. So when you design the shock absorbers, so basically the suspension system of the vehicle, it is simple spring mass system. Okay. So you must know the mathematical approach to find out the frequency, that is the natural frequency of the spring mass system. Okay. So that you can learn with the help of the dynamics of machinery. So when you learn these subjects, that is the vibration part from the dynamics of machinery, then you will get good understanding how the shock absorbers are being designed in the industry. Then second application, it is the design of vibration isolators for the heavy vibrating machines. For example, pumps, compressors, then vibratory conveyors. Okay. So you must have seen such type of isolators in the workshops. Okay. So in the workshops, the heavy machines, so machines having some rotating parts, these are subjected to some sort of vibrations. Okay. In order to minimize this vibration, this machine, it need to be isolated from the foundation by using these isolators. Okay. So let us see one example. So here you can see the application of the isolators. So basically isolators, these are the springs used in order to isolate the vibrating machine from the foundation. Okay. So because of the vibrating parts in the machine, there is a possibility of noise. In order to reduce this noise and reduce the damage in the machine part, we need to isolate that machine. So these are the isolating spring. And this is one industrial compressor, which is isolated from the foundation. Okay. So we will design this spring. So this is one application of dynamics of machinery. The next application, it is balancing of the rotating machine parts. Okay. Because the rotating machine parts, if there is some mass unbalance, then there is a possibility of heavy vibrations. Okay. So these vibrations, they will cause the damage to the shaft of that machine. Okay. So in order to reduce the vibration, we need to balance the complete rotating part. So this rotating part, these are the turbine shafts, then flywheels, then multi-cylinder engines. Okay. So for this, we will need some mathematical analysis, and that analysis we will learn in the dynamics of machinery. So here you can see the example how this balancing is carried out in the industry. So basically this example, it is for the flywheel. Okay. So flywheels, these are used in the punching machines, large punching machines. Okay. In order to store the energy. So here you can observe the complete balancing process in the industry. So basically this is a flywheel. So this is initially unbalanced flywheel. And that's why it is vibrating in the horizontal axis. And this is how the balancing is done, by adding some balancing masses. So this process is quite similar to the wheel balancing process. Okay. So if you have the car, then you must have done the wheel balancing in the garage. So now here you can observe after balancing, what is the change. So there is no vibration in the machine. Okay. So in order to determine the position and the amount of these balancing masses, there is one mathematical procedure to calculate the values of these balancing masses and at the same time its position. Okay. So this part you can learn in the balancing module, that is the last module. So this is the simplified model. So if there are number of masses on the same shaft, then how you can balance the given system? Okay. So this is a multi-mass system. The next application is the balancing of the IC engine.